morning, good afternoon, and just wanted to do a little short on my take and thoughts on the Space Jam: A New Legacy movie with LeBron. I just got to see that for the first time this morning with my daughter, who had seen it before, and I know it came out last year, but I went into it with some personal biases on the movie based upon things and reports and other YouTubers' commentary on the movie. And I have to admit, I actually had an intro ready. It was a very short intro that I usually do, where I take pictures and put it to music and etc. I decided not to do that after I finished watching the movie because it's uh, kind of the opposite of how I'm feeling about the movie now. Like I said, I went into it with some biases. I was very impressed, first off, with the acting abilities of LeBron James. I was quite impressed. I was quite impressed with of course, the CGI in the movie was excellent, very nice, very good, very awesome. And what threw me a curveball was the storyline and how the movie started out and the premise of the movie. Basically, the movie, in my opinion, was a father son movie. That dichotomy between the father and the child, whether it's son or daughter, and the father or the parent wanting their child to work hard, have a good work ethic, um, learn the fundamentals. You're young, you've got a long way to go, but you need to base your abilities and your skills on learning fundamentals and basics of for this premise was basketball. But the young son, Dom, who was the central figure, really, um, was a aspiring game designer, and I think he was 12 years old in the movie. Designed his own um, game and was very proud, and he had his passions and aspirations in the video game, but his father was sort of oblivious, thinking that the gaming aspect of it was kind of just a waste or take it back, a distraction from what LeBron was trying to get across, is that he could go far with this. Kind of how at the beginning of the movie how LeBron started out, because they began the movie with LeBron being a young kid in high school or junior high or whatever it might be. They playing basketball and his coach pretty much telling him the same thing that LeBron was trying to tell his son, was that don't let the distractions get in your way. Focus on what's going on. You can do a lot. You have skills. You have the ability. You can go a long way by focusing on, basketball. Okay, that was the premise. And he was trying to instill those values in his son. But he was also blind or not aware or unaware of what his son's true passions were or are in the movie, until we get to the part of the movie where the Don Cheadle character comes into play, who I think Don Cheadle was an excellent freaking villain in this movie. It was great. Can't say anything bad about Don Cheadle's acting at all. I mean, yeah, it's great. He's awesome. Um, but yeah, it was a good movie. I was taken aback. I was going into it knowing all the controversy that I knew from last year regarding Pepe Le Pew, and of course that character was not in there. Um, which I was kind of that was a disappointing factor. The other factor is that they kind of made Lola Bunny less feminine as opposed to the other movie where she had more curves on her and her shorts were a little shorter and whatever. But outside of that, um, you know, all the characters seemed very true to their canon origins. They did really good on that. Again, the CGI was excellent. It's just that you had, the absence of Pepe Le Pew, who was, Looney Tunes, uh, a staple character of theirs for decades. And I still think they could have kept him in the movie. They could have maybe toned him down a little bit. From what I was reading, there was a scene, it was supposed to be a scene, he was a bartender, and they cut that complete scene out, including the actress, the live action actress who was playing opposite of that. They cut her part completely out of the movie, which I think is kind of a BS move. That's kind of a dick move. They did change directors, and the second director is the one that cut every single freaking bit of Pepe Le Pew out of that movie completely. Again, I don't agree with it. They could have done some things to, you know, kept him in the movie because he was a main, he is part of the Looney Tunes legacy. And I didn't agree with that. But overall, as a story, as a movie, it was good. It was really good. I was, like I said, I was taken aback. I was going into it with a bias. And I walked out of there going, damn, this was actually a good movie. And LeBron James could actually act. Um, I watched the original movie with Jordan. I grew up with Jordan. Man, I had Air Jordan Nikes in school. Um, Big fan of the Bulls and Jordan. Jordan couldn't act. Sorry, I'm sorry. Jordan couldn't act. LeBron, LeBron, LeBron sold it well. He really did. That's surprising. It surprised me. I really was impressed. I mean, overall, it was a good movie. The premise, the story premise, the whole conflict that was going on because the basketball game was completely different than the Jordan movie, than the original one. So, in my opinion, it wasn't a reboot or a sequel. It was its own. It was its own entity. It was its own movie. Um, it was. It had its difference. It was different and good. Um, yeah, I was taken aback by it, but like I said, I was gonna come in and like trash the movie and whatever. That was kind of my expectation. I was like, you know, that's what I was gonna do. I was thinking, oh well, this, that, and the other thing, and blah blah. But no, I was surprised. I didn't want to watch it when it came out. My wife and daughter saw it last year when it came out. They saw it and they enjoyed it. And I had no interest. I had zero interest in watching it. I mean, to be dead honest with you, the only reason why I went to see this movie was because my wife signed uh, herself and my daughter up for a what they call a summer movie pass for kids, and for the summer months, every week they have a new movie, a kids movie that they come out with. It's usually an older movie, one from last year or something, and so you buy tickets ahead of time for each movie. They buy like a ticket pass, like a booklet has all of them in there. So you get. So she bought two packs of tickets, and she bought like a part of their rewards program, which is like a perk pass, which is basically popcorn perks. You prepay for popcorn. So and then we got two of the plastic cups. And so once you buy the cup, every time you go back in for the current year, you get you get a discount on the refill, the fill up on the drink. And it cost us $5. $2 each for the soda and $1 for a large popcorn. And yes, I smuggled contraband candy. I smuggled it in for me and my daughter. But yeah, it's I was yeah, like right now I'm kind of speechless about it because I enjoyed it so well. I kind of conflicted when I walked out of the movie. I'm like, holy shit. And even during watching the movie, I was conflicted, going, damn, I'm actually enjoying the movie. Yeah, there's some things I don't agree with. There's some things I'm really disappointed with. But then there's some stuff that I was completely surprised about, you know. Didn't agree with the Lola Bunny being frumpier, less curvaceous, but she still had some feminine qualities there toward the end, at least her emotional side. Um, and then, of course, the absence of Pepe Le Pew was pretty obvious. Um, but outside of that, yeah, I had a good time. I thought it was a good movie. I think it would be a standalone, not a sequel. I wouldn't consider it a sequel because the premise of the movie was completely different. Um, yeah, they had cameo of the Monstars, those little worm alien guys were there on courtside um, from the first one, the Jordan movie. But yeah, I was completely surprised, completely taken aback by the whole thing. But hey, Time Prophet, how's it going, man? You always count on the Time Prophet to show up. But yeah, the movie, like I said, it impressed me. I did enjoy the premise. They laid a good groundwork at the beginning of the movie with going through LeBron as a kid, how he got started in basketball, his rise and everything, and then his interaction with his family, and then the story emerges that it's a father-son thing. And I picked up on that pretty quick. I knew the premise of the movie from last year because the whole point of it was that they took, the son got kidnapped. So yeah. Hey Willie P, how's it going, man? Good to see you in the chat. Hey Krill Beer Ab, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, I was just saying, I don't know if you missed it, but I was just talking about this movie, the Space Jam New Legacy, and that the fact that I went into it with a bias, thinking it was going to be woke crap, and I was completely taken aback. I actually liked the movie. I liked the premise. I liked I liked LeBron James acting. I was surprised. I thought it was going to be, you know, completely different, and it wasn't. Um, yeah, I had a good time with it. Um, it was a fairly long movie. It was about 2 hours for sure, maybe a little over 2 hours. Um, CGI was good, like I said, but of course, there's things like they completely eliminated the presence of Pepe Le Pew. He wasn't even there because of the controversy in the director's choices and stuff like that. And then, of course, they kind of toned down the Lola Bunny a little bit, but she still has some feminine qualities to her. They just took out all the curves and the tight shorts. But yeah, um, but I was like I said, I was taken aback. I was impressed by it. I actually enjoyed the movie. The CGI was great. There really wasn't any that I could tell of any kind of what we consider woke. It really, outside of just them toning down the curves on Lola Bunny. Yeah, in the beginning, when you get to see Lola Bunny, she's trying out for you know, trying to become a member of Themyscira with Wonder Woman and all stuff like that, trying to be considered a member of their community and stuff. But outside of that, I mean, yeah, that was just a trial of physical trial and stuff like that. You know, I I don't know. I really can't say, I really can't say I hate the movie at all. I actually enjoyed the movie. I thought it was good. So, like I said before, the whole premise of the movie, it's a father-son dichotomy. And I know that anybody like Willie P, for instance, I know you have some kids and you do a lot of stuff together, and you're teaching them good stuff, and showing them different things, and that's kind of how this kind of was here. And the thing is that LeBron was trying to get his son to focus on being, be more more having more of a work ethic toward basketball and things like that, learning the fundamentals, practicing hard, putting in the work and things like that. And the kid didn't want to disappoint his dad, but he also had a different passion. His passion was the video game side, and he had a real good passion and a real good talent at doing it. So LeBron at the beginning couldn't see that. He only saw that as a distraction based upon his experience when he was younger and he was first starting out. So I kind of liked uh, that interaction and the whole premise of the movie. Completely different from the Michael Jordan movie. Um, Completely 100% different. Um, yeah, it was good. I don't know what else to freaking say. I can't trash it. But heck, yeah, yeah. Cruel beer ab in the chat there said he had the first one on VHS for years. Yeah, I've watched that one like probably a half a dozen times. I don't have it. I think I might have it on a DVD. The wife might have had it when we got together on DVD, but I never had the movie. But I watched it a lot. Um, Oh, uh, but yeah, like I said, I had a whole video, a little intro thing all set that was I thought was kind of funny, and I set it all up last weekend, and I'm like all gung ho. Oh yeah, this movie's gonna be friggin' just a dumpster fire, and I I come out of it conflicted as hell because I'm going, I can't even use that now because it's not as bad as I was expecting it to be. I was actually enjoying the movie. Like I said, I think it was a great standalone movie. I couldn't consider it a sequel or a reboot. It wasn't anything like that. It was a different premise, different storyline, completely only set in the world of the Looney Tunes and things like that. Again, Don Cheadle is a very good actor. I loved him as a bad guy. Oh, I'm not old enough to old enough to remember VHS. Yeah, dude. I remember Betamax. I didn't own it, but I remember Betamax, buddy. Oh my god. Oh, hang on a second. Did you draw that, Wookie? What do you draw? What did I draw? Tell me. Yeah, let me know, man. Uh, Hang on a second. Willie P's got a good statement here. Let me read. Let me get my glasses on. Uh, Willie P in the chat says, "I was a protectionist during those years of Space Jam and Star Wars remakes. I watched alone at first in the morning. I can't compare them because of the generational gap." Yeah, yeah, it's yeah. There's a big generational gap and stuff, but I think if you the underlying theme or the basis theme, and if things keep with canon, then there shouldn't really be a problem. It's there's always like this movie had the good guy versus the bad guy, the antagonist and the protagonist, and I think it was a good movie in that. Um, you know, uh, oh yeah, No, Time Prophet, that is nothing. That is actually a cartoon character from a old cartoon in the United States called Groovy Ghoulies from back in the 70s. I used to watch that a lot when I was a kid, and that character is called Wolfie, and he was like a hippie type character. It was a band called Groovy Ghoulies, and they had Dracula, it was called Drac. They had Frankie, was Frankenstein. They had the Mummy, and they had Wolfie. And so, yeah, it was a good cartoon. You should look it up. It's kind of a good one. It was a Lou Schweimer cartoon. The guy that did the He-Man stuff, he did that in the 70s. Uh, so good stuff there. Um, yeah, yeah. Never seen. Yeah, I. It was an American cartoon, like I said, in the 60s, 70s. It was actually a spin-off of another cartoon. It was uh, they were based on actual not a comic book, but they did have the comic books, but it was based on the comic strips that we would get in the newspapers here in the States of it was two different, I guess you could call franchises. One was called the Archies, and then that spun off with a character called Sabrina, who was a witch, and then the Groovy Ghoulies came out of the Sabrina thing. So it's kind of they were all in the same universe: Archie, Sabrina, and the Groovy Ghoulies. Um, but yeah, it's you should check it out. It's kind of a cool cartoon. Fun. It's all they're short. They're not long, but they made it out. They made it as a comedy cartoon. It was specifically. We even had laugh tracks in it, man. But it was good. And Wolfie was my favorite character because he was a cool dude. He was like, "Hey man," he was all laid back, he wore flip flops, and a couple times he wore Hawaiian shirts, and like it's all leisurely and stuff, like a hippie. Good character. Good character. But yeah, Captain Caveman. Yeah, Captain Caveman was good too. Um, yeah, Captain Caveman there, time problem. It was good. They're cruel. He does indeed look like Wookiee. May have seen that cartoon possibly. Yeah. I got a long way to go to grow out my hair on that. Yeah. Um, yeah, look it up. You can find it, Time Prophet. Yeah, it's there. Um, I know they sell the DVDs. I don't know. You might be able to find some that's for your region. I don't know. I know you can find them on Amazon here or on eBay too. So, um, but yeah, it was a good cartoon. I got to bribe the wife so I can buy the box set because it can be expensive for the box set of those guys. It's like I've seen them as low as like $70, but they're generally on average around $100, $100. You know, depending on which edition of the box set you get. So, but good stuff. Good stuff. If you can find it, man, you might get some ideas for your YouTube channel off it. Yeah, and it is on you. I've seen a couple of episodes on YouTube, but it's called Groovy Ghoulies. So yeah, but yeah, the movie, like I said, I was kind of conflicted when I walked out of there. It was really, I really liked it. I couldn't see anything bad in it except with the exceptions of the Pepe Le Pew portions. Everything was he was eliminated. He was completely deleted from the whole movie. It was pissed me off. And then of course they dressed down Lola Bunny, you know, gave her more baggy clothing, stuff like that, reduced her breast size, etc. She wasn't as the hourglass figure like in the other one with tighter clothes on, but she still had her feminine personalities and stuff like that. So, um, but yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I mean, um, you know. Yeah, and the scenes, the stuff that they did with the Looney Tunes and before they had the basketball game, just typical funny stuff as far as your traditional Looney Tunes hijinks, mayhem, and crazy shit with, you know, even the Wile E. Coyote stuff with the Roadrunner. I mean, the Sylvester and Tweety, uh, pretty funny, and then Yosemite Sam stuff. Um, good stuff. I didn't realize this, but Gabriel Iglesias, the comedian, did the voice of Speedy Gonzales. I knew I recognized the voice, but I didn't. I did. He didn't have a lot of lines, but it was good. He was good. He was good. Now you have to all remember one thing: with the exception of the female characters, like the grandma, like there was Granny, she was in it, she was good. But the classic Looney Tunes cartoons from the 1930s up until probably the mid 1970s, okay, every single one of those characters you saw on screen, with the exception of Granny and Lola, because Lola was a later addition, but they were all voiced by one guy, Mel Blanc. He also did, by the way, Time Prophet. He did Captain Caveman. He did a bunch of other voices for other studios too. They dubbed him the Man of a Thousand Voices, Mel Blanc. So and he did everything. He did Speedy Gonzales. He did Sylvester. He did Daffy, Bugs Bunny, Elmer, Fudd, Porky Pig, Foghorn Leghorn. He did them all. He did the beep beep sounds for the Roadrunner. Yeah, he did a ton of characters. He did a ton of main characters for the Looney Tunes franchise. He did a lot of ancillary characters for the Looney Tunes franchise as well. But yeah, he was. Every time I see Looney Tunes, that's all I can think of is, how close do they sound to the Mel Blanc voice that he did. So, yeah. Um, yeah, Slowpoke Rodriguez. Yeah, Slowpoke Rodriguez. Uh, he carries a gun. Oh, yeah. That was a funny character too. I love that. Slowpoke Rodriguez. Um, he's a good, a lot of good characters. Slowpoke. Um, Tweaky. Yeah. Mel Blanc did the voice of Tweaky on Buck Rogers. And the funny thing is the little guy in the suit of Tweaky was the guy that was in the Cousin It suit on the Addams Family in the 60s. That was the same actor, the midget, little person, whatever you want to call him, dwarf. It was the same person that played, um, you know, that played Cousin It, the big hairy, like the friggin' walking toupee. Um, yeah, so that was him. Tweaky, Twiggy. Yeah, no, it was Tweaky. Tweaky. That was the name of that character, Tweaky. Beady, beady, beady. What's up, Buck? Yeah, that was him. But yeah, can't beat the classics at all. Can't beat the classics at all. But like I said, this movie threw me off because I was going into it with a preconceived notion. I had a bias. Like I said, I made a freaking intro that I decided not to even use because I'm totally taken aback by the fact that it was actually good as far as the movie is concerned. It had a good story. The father son relationship story basically is what it was. And it was good. It was a positive, I think it was positive movie overall. Um, just that they eliminated Pepe Le Pew because of And again, remember, they eliminated Pepe Le Pew, but they took out scenes. They took out a scene that he was in opposite another actress, okay, a live human. They took those scenes out, and it pissed her off. And she was completely disappointed because she was cut out of the whole freaking movie too. And so, not only did they eliminate him, but they eliminated her, and she was really bitter about it. And I don't blame her. But then again, it is what it is. Outside of that, that's the only negative that I can say is the Pepe Le Pew thing was kind of bullshit. They could have wrote it in better. They could have done something to keep Pepe Le Pew in, and maybe just done something better instead of just cutting him out. Uh, yeah, Willie P. I have not seen the trailer, the new trailer for that yet. I'm hearing a lot of people actually like it. I know that they use the yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I gotta look it up, and I'll take a look at that trailer. I was a big Munsters fan, so yeah, I would like to. I'll check that out. Uh, oops. Yeah. Yeah. Time Prophet. The CGI characters look a little ugly. Yeah. When they brought them into three dimensional, yeah, they did look a little weird. But I think it's just because the difference in because it came from like a 2D, you know, ink dimension to the three-dimensional world, and they didn't look all that. I didn't think they looked all that bad at all. I mean, there was some differences that they made, some changes, but to like Bugs Bunny a little bit and stuff. But outside of that, I wasn't too put off by that the CGI portion of the Looney Tunes characters at all. Um, they could have done maybe some a little. They could have done a little bit better, but they weren't bad. I've seen worse, way worse. uh, yeah, let's see. And Willie P says, "Yeah, but we all know he doesn't. We all knew he doesn't spend time with his kids." Yeah, that was kind of I think the premise of the whole movie was he was supposed to. It was kind of to him getting him to understand or get to know his kids basically. He didn't know what, for instance, his this character Dom in the movie, he didn't really know all that much about his son and his interests and passions and stuff like that. And he was kind of taken aback, surprised that he designed a freaking video game, you know, for a 12-year-old kid in the movie. So yeah, it's now, LeBron in real life, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a fan of his. I don't follow him. I don't watch basketball. I don't agree with a lot of things that he has said in the past. So, but outside of that, in this particular movie, nothing else, he acted very well. He had a good acting talent. He was good in the movie, and it was his lines were written very well. Everything was done very well, in my opinion. Outside of the movie, I couldn't give two shits about the man. Honestly, I don't. I don't care that he's a great basketball player. I don't care anything about that. Um, I don't. I have no interest in him and what he does at all. But the movie was good. You know, the movie was good. Yeah, time profit. Yeah, perhaps Lola had an eating disorder like all the SJWs now. I don't know. They did change her look, of course. They reduced her breast size. That's obvious. Her chest size was reduced, and they had her wearing very loose or baggy fitting clothing, so that you couldn't tell what her figure really was. They basically dressed her down. They made her look frumpy. Um, and so that's kind of what they did. I kind of didn't really have. I really wasn't thrown off too much about that, but considering the original movie and in other things I've seen her in as that character Lola Bunny, yeah, everything up to this point, she actually had sex appeal. They drew her that way. They made her that way. Um, and that was, in this movie, they took that sex appeal out, and then they just dressed her down. Really, in my opinion, they just dressed her down. Let's see here. Oh, what do we got here? Time Prophet. Check out Hustle for a good basketball movie. Adam Sandler is good in this one, playing a non-comedic part. I don't even like basketball, but it was a good movie. I've heard a lot of good things about that. Yeah, and especially about his serious acting. There's a lot of comedic actors out there or comedians that actually did some serious has done in the past. They've done serious roles in other movies, and it was kind of impressive. But yeah, Adam Sandler, I hear he's good. I might watch that. Um, yeah, Willie P. Next time we'll get the trans Manian devil. uh, well, Willie, you do know that at one point in time in Looney Tunes, they did have a female Tasmanian devil. It was his wife, and she looked just like him, but with lipstick on. It was quite funny, and it was funny on purpose too. You know, but yeah, who knows? We might have one of them. It's oh yeah. Oh, let's see. Cruel Burab. She is riddled with soy. LOL. Ah, yeah. um, yeah. She might be. She might be cruel. I don't know. I didn't think too much of her. Uh, yeah, Time Prophet. She was a mad Tasmanian devil. Yeah, she was pissed off all the time, walking around with a clothes or with a rolling pin, smacking him around. So yeah, good times back in the day. Uh, yep, good times. Man, okay. Does everybody want to see that little my intro? I guess I could play it just for laughs. Yeah. What do you say, you guys? The three of you. You want to see the intro? It's not very long. It's only a few seconds. Um, but I thought it was kind of funny. Okay. Willie says yes. Cruel Brab says we never see rolling pins anymore. Yeah, I know. They're out there. They're just hard to find sometimes. Yeah. Do it. Yes. Okay. I'll do it. All right. Let me get over here real quick. All right. Here we go. And action. And yes, the snack bar had really high prices on all that junk food. Um, I will tell you this from experience. All last year, I was seeing the toys. They had toys for this. They had board games and different swag, all kinds of merchandise, promoting the movie. And personally, where I would go in the stores, I would see the big boxes and things like this. It really wasn't selling that much. It really didn't sell. You know, I was seeing a lot of it everywhere, and then it would end up being on a clearance rack for this movie, and they would have special figures and stuff like that, where they'd have like a multi pack of these. They weren't figurines, really. They weren't action figures. They were figurines, so they were stationary, static, but they weren't selling. They weren't selling, and they had Yeah, there was all kinds of different merchandise to promote it. You know, it was Warner Brothers, so they were trying to promote their stuff with, you know, mugs and T-shirts and blankets and whatever else they could get away with slapping the logo on to throw out there. But um, you know, a lot of it as far as like your collectible stuff, figures, figurines, the board games, or like trading card type stuff that they did have for it, didn't, in my opinion, didn't really sell because I saw a lot of it going on clearance racks. They went to the clearance area. So yeah, uh, didn't see a lot of it. uh, Willie's genius. Lovely. uh, what is that? All right, time profit. Naughty holder is 76 today from Slade. Slade. Naughty holder. Who is that? Time profit, enlighten me. Inquiring minds want to know. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. Shit. I don't know. Dead air. Stream killer. All right, Cruel Beer Ab, he's bailing out. He's got to go do some stuff because it's 8 hours later over there than it is here. So it's like 10 o'clock over there, man. 10, little after 10 p.m. over there. Yeah. So, hey, have a good one there, Cruel Beer Ab. Have a good night, and we'll see you later. Yeah. And then Time Prophet. Mama, we're all crazy now. Um, yes. Yes, we are. Uh, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this. I thought it was just going to be a freaking hatchet job on this movie, but ugh, yeah, I thought it was a great movie, great storyline, great setting. So yeah, um, I was taken aback. Oh, it's an English. Slade is an English band. Okay, cool. All right. Okay. Merry Christmas, everybody. Okay. All right. Elliot. Elliot, how you doing, man? Good to see you in the chat, buddy. Hey, I missed you yesterday. I really apologize that I didn't check my DMs in time. But hey, I'm glad to see you in the chat, sir. And yeah, so just talking about, well, there's not really much left to talk about as far as this movie goes, but I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I liked it. I was surprised. I was going to butcher it at the stake, but I surprised and I thought it was good. Um, I really hope they don't make a sequel to this. I don't think they will. I don't know how well it did at the box office. I really didn't check anything out on it. I hope they don't make a sequel. It was a good standalone movie, just like the Michael Jordan one was a good standalone movie. And again, it wasn't a reboot or a sequel. It was its own thing because the premise and storyline was completely different than the original Michael Jordan one. I'll always like the Michael Jordan one. It was good. But I actually like this one too. Um, yeah. Uh, Helen might even get it on DVD at some point. I don't know. I like the movie. I didn't like what they did with Pepe Le Pew, but yeah, overall was good. uh, Time Prophet. Can we hold an airlock open with a space jam? I don't know. I don't know, buddy. Uh, Elliot, hit the like button, people. Yeah, yes, hit the like button. Yeah, Yeah, no problem, Elliot, for being late. No big deal. No big worry at all, my friend. Um, I'd planned on this one being a short stream anyway, because I was gonna anticipating on crucifying this thing, but again, apparently not. Willie P. What happens when you have the runs in space? Space Jam. Oh, I'll tell you what. I don't know if have you guys seen the trailer for the new Beavis and Butthead movie? Judge is like all over that, doing the voices, probably doing the production. Looks like it's gonna be akin to it's called the Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. So, and from the things I've seen in it, it's classic Beavis and Butthead, baby. It's all looks all good, and I wanna watch that for damn sure. So that looks like it's gonna be a good movie. Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. Um, yeah, yes, the Elliot. Yeah, it's I'm excited too. I've seen that trailer like a half a dozen times, man.
Wow, I'm Cornelio. TP for my bunghole.
Uh, yeah, love Beavis and Butthead. Love it, love it, love it. So, but heck, might do a. I tell you what would be kind of cool doing a watch along of that bad boy. But it's on Paramount Network. I don't know if I want to spend the money to just watch that, but who knows? Can always cancel. I can always cancel it. I actually found a streaming service or a streaming channel on my Roku, and to get the Gary Anderson collection of stuff. So, talking about Gary Anderson, the stuff that I was familiar with originally was Space 1999. Um, so they have Space 1999, and then they have all of these Supermarientation stuff that he did. So there was the Thunderbirds, Supercar, Stingray, the X whatever one. Um, but the funny thing is they don't have UFO. Of all the ones they don't have UFO. They have it looks like they have everything else for Gary Anderson, but they don't have UFO, which is surprising. I was very taken aback by that not even being listed on that channel. Um, but anyway, yeah, good stuff. I've been watching some of Stingray, and of course, catching back up with Space 1999. That was one of my favorite shows to watch back in the 70s when they broadcasted on some of the local TV stations. They would broadcast it in the late 70s. So good stuff. Uh, yeah, let's see here. Time Prop in the chat. I used the Roku Ultra, not available in the UK, so I got it from America. All right, man. Good for you. Yeah, I've got three Rokus. They're all the same model. So I have three TVs, and they're about 4 years old. I've had a 4 years old. I literally cut the cable. Um, used to have satellite, and we just decided to screw it, and we got rid of the satellite. Got Roku. We started with one, and then we got another one, and then we got the final one we got for my daughter's room. But yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, some of the stuff I'm kind of disappointed with. And it's not Roku itself. Well, it kind of was because they were having a problem. They were going back and forth about YouTube. I guess Roku has a YouTube channel, and that's what I primarily use to watch my YouTube stuff on. I watch stuff there. I have like almost 300 freaking channels I subscribe to, from everything from uh paracord bracelet making to metalworking, woodworking, all the gun channels, all my favorite uh, fandom channels and all the nerd channels, all the like F&T and Heel versus Babyface and those types of channels and Salty Cracker, of course. Um, and then all the Bigfoot channels. I watch a bunch of Bigfoot channels on there too. So there's all kinds of different stuff. Oh yeah, and then all the bushcraft and survival channels. I watch a lot of those. My favorite is Corporal's Corner. He's my favorite. I watch him a lot. But anyway, yeah, Roku kind of I kind of got nervous because Roku and YouTube were having a dispute, and but they finally worked it out to where I still have YouTube on my Roku. I can still get it through there, so I'm glad. Uh, Time Profit also in the chat says I also have my own Plex server with over 8 terabytes of data. I gotta put another hard drive. Man, what are you doing, bro? Man, 8 terabytes. Well, I see your stuff that you do on your channel, dude, and I'm sure you need a lot of that stuff to do what you do with your graphics and stuff. And you do good stuff, man. I really like the stuff you do. I really like your channel, and I can understand why you only have a put out a video a month because the quality is better than quantity, especially for the type of stuff you do. You know, really good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. You watch the gun channels to see what you can't get over there. Yeah. Yeah. That was one of the first ones I started watching because I was interested in a particular manufacturer and model of handgun. And so I found it. I just searched it and I found this channel and I ended up watching his review and then I subbed to his channel. And then it kind of like blossomed. I found other channels and stuff and whatever. So, yeah. Holy smokes, man. You got 5,000 hours of view time last month? Holy crap, dude. Awesome. That is so awesome to hear, man. So awesome to hear. Willie P in the chat. Gotta go, guys. Baby's awake and mama's making the chatter. I'll I'll check you on the flip side. Hey, man, have a good one. Thank you so much for coming in, Willie. Really appreciate it. Good seeing you in the chat. You have a good one, okay? Yeah. You get all your views on the rewatch time profit. Yeah. 5,000 hours of viewed, huh? Wow. That's a lot, dude. I think I have like 36, maybe 15. I don't even know. I haven't even checked on my junk. Um, yeah, good stuff though. Like I said, you got good stuff. I loved your Doctor Who review on the movie with Peter Cushing. That was awesome and funny as hell too, dude. Funny, funny, funny. And even the one with the dinosaur of the Western, I forget the name. It's some goofy name, but it was funny, man. Just 100% funny. You know, you should do. Hey, man, You should do one. You would probably. I don't know. It may not be a subject matter that you would be interested in at all, but it's a good 1970s American, and I classify it as a B movie, as an independent movie, I believe. But uh, check it out. It is on YouTube. You can find the movie on YouTube. I own it on DVD. I was actually trying to get Mega Geek to come on with me at some point to do a review over it, but I was going to do it this week, but he's out of town this week. He's actually in the United States this week. So that kind of got put to the wayside. But check out The Creature from Black Lake. It's a Bigfoot movie, and it's set in the South in the early 1970s, mid 1970s. I think it was filmed in 74, I think 73, 74. You would probably have a field day picking that thing apart, man. I could see you coming up with some awesome one-liners on that movie, man. It's not a bad movie, but it's not a good movie either. um, but I could see you coming up with some great one-liners. Check it out. It's not the creature from the Black Lagoon. It's called the creature from Black Lake. It has in it the two notable actors in it are uh oh god, Jack Elam and Dub Taylor. Those are the two notable actors in the movie. The two main character actors, they're good. They're good actors, but it's 1970s American South, man, and I think you'll get a kick out of it. I really do. It's available on YouTube. There's several different run times. I was kind of disappointed though. The one I actually saw on YouTube, I thought was a complete movie, but they actually took out some parts of the movie, some scenes, small scenes. There were short scenes, but there were significant scenes. They were kind of funny though, and scenes where they're playing a tape recorder. Yeah, a tape recorder. They have a tape recorder with sounds of a Bigfoot howl or yell or whatever, scream, and they scare the hell out of a bunch of college kids in class with it. And then the next time you see it, they're in a restaurant in the South, and the guy breaks it out and turns it on and freaks everybody out. It's pretty funny, but they took those two scenes out of the one on YouTube. Don't know why. Um, yeah, although the creature from Black Lagoon was a good movie. That's one of my favorite Universal movies. Monster. It's your traditional monster movie. It was good. I liked it. You know. Uh, yeah, it's also known as the Demon of the Lake. Okay, is that what they classified? Is that what they used as a title over there? Time Prophet in Britain. Don't know. I know why you like it. It's a Bigfoot. Yes. Well, it's one of the first movies I was exposed to with Bigfoot in it, outside of The Legend of Boggy Creek, which is a very influential B movie documentary. It's kind of a docudrama. You can look that one up. It's out there. Legend of Boggy Creek. The 1970s came out with a lot of stuff, and I don't know if you probably know that Leonard Nimoy did a show here in the States called In Search of back in the 70s, and he did several segments on Bigfoot, the Yeti, the Bonnell Snowman, stuff like that, and on In Search of. And so, yeah, I used to watch those shows as a kid. The Legend of Boggy Creek, and then of course the Creature from Black Lake. And then of course in the 70s, the TV show, which was one of my favorites, the $6 Million Man with Lee Majors, which I still have my action figure of him. They had Andre the Giant, the wrestler Andre the Giant played Bigfoot in an episode, and then I guess a year later they had a Bigfoot again, but he was played by Ted Cassidy in kind of a crossover thing with the Bionic Woman. So they used Ted Cassidy instead of Andre, probably because Andre was touring and couldn't do it. But the Andre portrayal of Bigfoot in the $6 Million Man was scary because Andre the Giant was like 7 foot. He was a giant. He was friggin' huge. And Lee Majors was a dwarf standing next to Andre. It was a great show. Great show. And I got to get the box set of the $6 Million Man too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Alternative title. Okay. So they had two titles to choose from, and then they decided to go with the Creature from Black Lagoon. Yeah. Yeah. Leonard Nimoy, the In Search of was great. Yeah, I love those shows. Um, yeah. You do have the oh wow, you have the entire series. Nice, dude. You lucky guy, you. Yeah, it's my favorite show back then, man. I really loved it. I have a lunchbox. I actually have a lunchbox of $6 Million Man. I have a comic book that I've had since I was a kid. Got it brand new. Read the hell out of it. The pages are kind of tattered on on the outside, but still in good shape overall. But yeah, I got a lunchbox of $6 Million Man. I got my Steve Austin in my trunk of goodies, locked away before I'm gonna have him. I'm gonna make a shadow box. I'm gonna put him in it. I actually have a 8x10 photograph that came with the action figure of Steve Austin. It's a picture of Lee Majors dressed as Steve Austin, and it's signed Steve Austin, Colonel Steve Austin. And I'm gonna put that in with the shadow box with my action figure. It's gonna be kind of cool. Yes, yeah, yeah. He was bionic. That's yeah, they came out with that. There was an action figure of him too, an original uh Bigfoot for that. They came out with a action figure, which was an awesome looking one. They also came out with I call it a gag toy, but they had kind of like how they had the Evil Knievel, where you put the Evil Knievel figure on his motorcycle with this launching thing, and you'd wind it up and let it go and it'd run. Well, they had something like that for the $6 Million Man. So they had one with Bigfoot on it, and the bike or whatever it was yellow. It was kind of like a cross between a motorcycle and a speeder or something. And the figure would sit on it. It came with the figure, and then of course you had the Steve Austin one too, and I think his cycle was white, and you could kind of the same premise as the Evil Knievel wind up motorbike toy. So it was kind of cool. Uh, you know what? I don't remember ever seeing them. If it was the later editions of the $6 Million Man when he had a mustache, I probably never saw it. I remember hearing that William Shatner was in it, but I never knew George Takei was. I'm gonna have to look those up, but I gotta buy the box set. I want to get the box set of that. So those are probably the later years before it got canceled. And I remember that Lee Majors was wearing a mustache for a season or so. And I think it was kind of to piss people off. I don't know, it was something up with a mustache. So there's a story behind his mustache thing. But yeah, William Shatner and George Takei. Yeah. Um, I like George Takei as an actor. He's a good actor. Again, I don't really care much about, you know, what he does outside of when he's on screen, but I do enjoy his acting. I really do. Um, but outside of that, I don't really care much about the man. Uh, Shatner, eh, yeah, kind of the same way. I enjoy his acting and stuff like that. I enjoyed his books. He did Tech Wars, and also he did that series of the Spectre series, and kind of uh, the uh, the mirror universe type deal he took on with the Star Trek stuff in his books, which they could have made a movie using his books on that. That was just awesome. But I remember the Tech Wars TV series too that came out that was inspired by his books. Yeah. So yeah, he got a mustache and then he lost it. Yeah. Yeah, I remember there's the mustache thing. I don't know how long he had it, half a season or whatever, just a few episodes, but it was later on in the series. Um, because when the later years, there was other stuff out there coming on, and then Star Wars hit too, and that kind of like, I was all into Star Wars and stuff like that, and other TV shows and stuff like that. Yeah. Tech Wars. Yeah, Tech Wars. Tech Wars was good. Yeah. Greg Evigan played in Tech Wars. Yep. Real good stuff there. Again, I think he's a good writer. I think he's a good actor. Obviously, he's Captain Kirk. He'll always be Captain Kirk. He'll always be the best captain. But outside of that, I've heard stories of how he treats people and stuff, and I don't really care too much for that. But as an actor, he does good stuff. I remember he was on Columbo. He played a bad guy on Columbo. He was in a couple of different movies. Um, yeah, good. Oh, and Twilight Zone. He was in a couple episodes of the old Rod Serling Twilight Zone, which was pretty good. Oh, the famous one that he did, which was the airplane thing, the gargoyle or whatever on the wing, and he lost his mind. But there was another one that he did, yeah, for I think it was Twilight Zone, or it could have been Outer Limits. It was either he did an Outer Limits one or was a Twilight Zone. But I know he did the famous one was that one with the plane when he lost his mind again. That was a good one. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Leonard Nimoy was in Twilight Zone. Yep. Yep. He was. Um, yeah. So um the actor Lee Marvin was in a Twilight Zone as well, which blew me away. And also Lucille Ball. Was it Lucille Ball or was it Carol Burnett? No, Carol Burnett. It was Carol Burnett. I'm pretty sure it was Carol Burnett who was in a. She was in a Twilight Zone too, one of the early ones. Um, Jack Klugman, Telly Savalas, um, a lot of them. Hey, I think George Takei was in one too, wasn't he? He was in something like that. It was either an Outer Limits or it was a Twilight Zone. But a lot of great actors got their start on a Twilight Zone. Um, and then, of course, Rod Serling kind of transitioned into the Night Gallery back in the late '60s, early '70s, which was, I guess, it was a good program. I used to see a couple of those and get creeped out when I was a little kid. They creeped me out. Night Gallery, but yeah, good times, good stuff. But hey, man, like I said, check that out. Check out the creature from Black Lake. You might get a kick out of it. Um, you can probably pick up some. You could probably make a pretty good video out of that, man. Seriously, there's a lot of good campy, quirky stuff in there. There's the one scene that's my favorite, and I really enjoy is when the two main characters, are camping when they first got out there. They first got down there. They were tent camping, and the character Paho. Okay, he he's sitting there, and Reeves he gives Reeves a beer, and they're sitting there BSing, and the subject of chicken comes up, and Pahu does a great scene of telling his buddy all about the different types of chicken that his dad would and mother would make for dinner, and that's why he despises chicken. He wants a cheeseburger instead of chicken. But then after that, he gets up to go, get rid of the rest of the beer that he had. Yeah, go take a leak behind the tent. And the funny thing is he's sitting there. It's all dark, and he's doing his thing. And the funny, creepy, eerie 1970s music starts for all the creepiness. And a hippie walks up behind him. Hey, man, what's going on? Scares him to death. Great scene. I think you'll get a kick out of it, man. Check that movie out. What if chicken doesn't really taste like chicken? Well, shit. Yeah, the 2005 Twilight Zone. Yeah, I didn't really give a heck about that either. Yeah, don't remember. George Takei, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it was the Twilight Zone or the Outer Limits, but Outer Limits and Twilight Zone were competing against each other. And they came out at the same time or around the same era, early, early '60s. Both were black and white original. They were all black and white, but yeah. I could have sworn he was in one of those. Um, so, and my dog's barking at nothing. That's great. But yeah, no. Creature from Black Lake is good. There's another one. There's another more of a modern Bigfoot movie, and it's kind of cheesy. The creature looks kind of cheesy. It is a guy in a suit. It's not CGI. It's actually a guy in a suit. I didn't really care for how they did the facial features of it because it looks like he's got like Down syndrome or something like that. The creature, but as far as a creature design, it's really close. Here's the thing. The thing about that movie, The Creature of Black Lake, up until that time, you know, they did a good job on the creature costume, that costume and everything that was made. And actually, the guy who was in it was not a small man either. Um, uh, they did a real good job because the guy who was the executive producer of the movie, Jim McCullough, he actually is in the movie. He plays a part in the movie, and you get to see him. His grandpa or uncle is the Dub Taylor character, and but he's in the movie now. Jim McCullough did this whole movie because he was a Bigfoot researcher, and I guess he had an experience or experiences with these creatures down in the South. And so he did a lot of the creature development based on what he saw. And so the creature, in my opinion, it looks real good. Not as good as the Patty, because Patty was real. So you know. Uh, I know you don't believe in that stuff, but I'm just letting you know it was real. But yeah, he did a real good job on the creature design and everything. Um, So the guy in the movie that played the creature is a big guy, but he's not like he's not like Andre the Giant size. So when they filmed this, they filmed it with either a lot of close-ups of the creature, or they did it to where if it was a long shot, whatever the creature was near was relatively smaller than him to make the creature look bigger. But it's 1970s, so it's an independent film. So um, the two guys, the two main actors, the characters, and then of course Jack Elam and Dub Taylor are good acting. They do good acting. A lot of the ancillary characters, not so much. Yeah, you could tell they needed a few more classes in acting school. Oh my god! Hey, dog. I'm gonna scream at my dog over here. Hey, you can't chase cars through the house to the door, okay? Just relax. Anyway, well, profit of time. I'm gonna have to cut it off because my dog's having an emotional breakdown about a car driving by, so she won't shut up. So anyway, all right, I'm gonna end this now. It's way longer than I'd anticipated, but again, uh, the movie Space Jam: A New Legacy was a good movie in my opinion. It's better than I thought. I thought I was going to trash it, but I thought it was, going to be more preachy woke crap, but it wasn't. There was some things I did not appreciate about the movie, like the elimination of Pepe Le Pew, and then the dressing down, the frumpiness of Lola Bunny. But I have to say, overall, I was impressed with LeBron James' acting. I was hell of a lot better actor than the Jordan. But good movie overall. Good standalone movie. It's not a reboot. It's not a two. It's its own movie because the premise is completely different and the storyline is completely different. So good movie, and I love Don Cheadle as the villain. He played a real good part. Real good part. Anyway, I will say goodbye and good night for now. Everybody have a great one, and Time Prophet and Willie P and Cruel Beer Ab and Elliot. Thank you all for coming in to the chat and sticking around to watch me, flap my gums about this movie and other stuff. Much appreciated to you guys. Prophet, have a good night, and we'll see you around the interwebs.